Hello. So I want to make a video about expos and shows because I've kind of found that it's kind of my niche. I think it's kind of something I'm pretty good at, and I've done quite a few over the last 2 years. So I've picked up some things along the way, and I thought I could share it with you guys. So I just did an expo today, the Whole Life Expo at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. It's a huge show. They have tons of different like health foods and supplements, all kinds of stuff. And it was a really great show for me. I sold 6 wraps. I added like 3 or 4 people on Facebook, and I have a woman who's really interested in becoming a distributor. So really excited about that. I would say that actually, I have 2 number 1 tips. So the first one, and this kind of goes for anything in this business, when you're talking to anybody, you answer their question and then you zip it. You don't want to barf all over them. You don't want to give them information they didn't ask for. You just want to keep it as simple as possible. I personally have a bit of a green personality, and I used to think that everybody wants as much information as I do, and they don't. And you can kind of, after a while, see that glazed over look in their eyes. So if they ask, what's the wrap? Just say it's a body wrap that helps to tighten, tone, and firm. If they ask how it does it, answer the question. If they ask what the ingredients are, answer that question. And then just close your mouth. Let them kind of lead the conversation. Yeah, you just don't want to give them too much information. It's overwhelming, especially at an expo. You only really have so much time to talk to people. So you kind of want to keep them curious. So I think that would be my number 1 tip. Yeah, there's no need to answer questions they didn't ask for. So I think my second number 1 tip, so tip 1B, that would be, and this is something that a lot of people don't do that, but since I've started doing it, I've had really good results with it. I don't really do the ballot thing anymore, which I know is kind of unheard of with expos, but I was just finding I was leaving shows with 30 or 40 names on paper, and I didn't call them. Or if I did call them, they wouldn't answer. It got me absolutely nowhere. Like, nothing ever happened. And what I've started doing is I've started adding people on Facebook. And I know a lot of people think, oh, that's so awkward. Nobody's going to let a stranger add them on Facebook. And if you think like that, maybe they won't add you. But if you just kind of approach it with like, hey, yeah, I'd love to send you some more information. Let me just add you on Facebook. I post a bunch of stuff on there. Or let me add you on Facebook. I can send you instructions on how to wrap. Like, I find the problem is most people say, oh, do you have Facebook? Can I add you? And you don't have to be pushy about it, but just say, oh, let me add you on Facebook, and get your phone out and give it to them and have them write in their name. I've only had, like, I've done this with so many people, and I've only had, like, 1, maybe 2 people be like, oh, no, or I don't have Facebook. And you can tell they're just lying, but whatever. They don't have to give you their information. But most people are like, yeah, sure, that's great. So yeah, like, the great thing about that is that when you add somebody on Facebook, they don't have to be ready to buy or join at that moment. I've mentioned this analogy a few times, but it's kind of like when they have you on Facebook, it's like they're a car driving past a billboard for an Italian restaurant every day. If you pass the same billboard every day, you're not always going to want Italian food. You may pass it one day and you're hungry, but you're in a rush, so you don't have time to go to the Italian restaurant. Or you may pass it one day and you're not hungry at all. Or you may pass it one day, but you have a craving for Mexican. But there's going to be one day you're going to pass that billboard, you're going to be starving, you're going to want spaghetti more than anything you've ever wanted in your life, and you're going to go to that restaurant. And it's the same thing with Facebook. You basically, it's a great way to drip on people. Just give them a little bit of information at a time. Obviously, your Facebook isn't going to be spammy because you're an amazing distributor and you're just going to share about your fun adventure. and eventually they're going to want to be a part of it, or they're going to want to try the products. Whereas if you get a ballot and you call them, if you call them and they're in a bad mood, or they don't have money, or they're too busy, or they don't need the product at that time, that's it, right? Like, unless you keep calling them, but I don't know about you, I wouldn't want a distributor to keep calling me. Whereas Facebook's a lot less invasive, but it's more persistent without being invasive. So yeah, since I've started doing that, it's been great. I've signed loyal customers, I've signed a distributor that way, and I probably wouldn't have signed them if I had just gone the old route of doing the ballots. I usually only bring wraps with me to sell at shows. I know some other people do bring product and they've had success with that. For me personally, I'd rather get them signed up as a loyal customer and then make that residual income. And also, if you sell them a product, you might never see that person again. Whereas if you sign them as a loyal customer, now that you have their information, you have them ordering month after month, and you can build a relationship with them. So that's just the way that I like to do things. It's worked for me. I've been doing this almost 2 years now in this business. I've done, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 15 shows. Not a ton compared to some people, but I've done enough shows, enough variety of shows that I think I have a pretty good handle on it. It's worked well for me. So if you have any questions about this, then you can comment below, or you can find me on Facebook. My name is Rebecca Johnson. It's facebook.com/Beck the New Black, Beck with a CK, and you could send me a message. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day.